Okay, so let's unpack this. You look at the NBA calendar, you see Rivals Week, and you just expect a certain level of intensity,
You
wrong?
do. You expect some bad blood, maybe some close finishes.
But I don't think anyone was really prepared for the absolute chaos we saw last night. We're talking double overtime games, legends climbing up the all-time lists.
And just these scoring outbursts that felt like they were straight out of a video game. It was one of those nights where the league just sort of emptied the clip.
It really was. It felt like the playoffs just decided to show up in late January.
Yeah, you had the drama, the tactical battles, and then unfortunately you also had that reminder of how, fragile a season can be with an injury.
Exactly. So it is Wednesday, January 28, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone tuning in, our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're going to break down everything that happened yesterday, Tuesday the 27th, because there's a lot there.
A lot to get through.
And then we're going to pivot to tonight. Because if you thought Tuesday was wild, the slate for tonight, especially that battle for LA, has some serious weight behind it.
And for you, the listener, we're going to try to go a little deeper than just the box scores. It's about the why and the how. Why did a team manage to survive a double OT scare? How is the rookie ladder shifting right under our noses? We're trying to connect the dots here.
All right, let's dive right in then. Part one, the Tuesday results. And we have to start with the headliner, the game that probably wrecked sleep schedules all over the East Coast.
Oh, yeah. Celtics versus the Nets.
The game of the night, no question.
Easily.
The Celtics survive, and I think survive is definitely the right word here. They beat the Nets 130 to 126 in double overtime.
That's 58 minutes of basketball. It was just a war of attrition. And you have to look at the context.
It's Rivals Week.
It's Rivals Week. It's an Atlantic Division game, which is always a grind. But what really stood out to me was Boston's resilience. It's so easy on a Tuesday in January when you're pushed to a second OT on the road to just let go.
Right, to just say, hey, it's not our night, we're tired.
Exactly. Boston didn't do that.
That's what's interesting, because you see a score like 130, and you think, well, Boston's calling card is usually their defense. Was this just offense first, or what happened there?
No, I think the defense was there when it absolutely had to be. That's the thing. In a double overtime game, your legs get heavy. Rotations get a half step slower. But in that second OT, Boston got the critical stops they needed, and that connects to this whole idea of championship DNA. You don't win titles by blowing everyone out. You win them by grinding out these ugly ones.
So this is like a deposit in the bank for April and May.
100%. Stealing a win like that on the road against a rival who played great, that is a statement. That's what separates the real contenders.
Okay, so from team resilience, let's go to individual brilliance and history. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets. They were in Detroit.
Yep, taking on the Pistons.
And the context here is pretty important.
Yeah.
Houston had lost 5 straight road games. They were sliding.
They were desperate. You could kind of feel the tension around that team. They just needed something to stop the bleeding.
And when you need a win, I guess it helps to have Kevin Durant. Rockets win 111 to 104. KD drops 32 points. But it wasn't just the 32, was it?
No, it was the efficiency.
Wow.
And this is the marvel of Kevin Durant. Even now, he shot 11 of 19 from the field to score 32 points on fewer than 20 shots in what felt like a must-win game. I mean, that's surgical.
And in doing so, he hit a pretty massive milestone.
He did. He's now number 11 on the all-time three-pointers made list.
Which is still wild to me, because when I picture KD, I still see the mid-range game, the pull-up at the elbow. I don't immediately think volume three-point shooter.
Well, that just speaks to his evolution, He came into the league as this pure scorer who could shoot. Then he became the most efficient mid-range guy ever.
Yeah.
And now he's adapted to the math of the modern NBA.
Taking more threes to preserve his body.
And to space the floor. That performance wasn't just about getting a win in Detroit. It was a masterclass in how to age gracefully as a superstar. It just calms everyone in that locker room down.
Okay, now let's look at a different situation. We had the gritty win with Boston, the star power win with Houston. But then there was this fascinating game, Pacers and the Thunder. Pacers win, 117 to 114.
What a thriller.
But if you just looked at the headlines, you wouldn't think the Pacers won. Everyone is talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
SGA was, he was absolutely nuclear.
37 points. He put the team on his back, and yet they lost.
And this brings up one of my favorite basketball questions, right? Can a heliocentric offense, where one guy does basically everything that beat a balanced system? And last night, the answer was no.
Shai was heroic. MVP-level stuff.
He was. But the Pacers, they just withstood it. They absorbed that 47-point barrage and just kept executing their game plan. And that's the key takeaway for you listening.
Right.
You can watch the highlights and think OKC dominated. But basketball is a game of possessions. The Pacers had 4 or 5 guys contributing. They didn't panic. It's a huge reminder that team execution usually wins out over individual brilliance.
The difference between a great performance and a winning performance.
Precisely.
Speaking of winning performances, let's talk about the Denver Nuggets. They go into Milwaukee, and let's be honest, you look at the injury report before that game, everyone penciled that in as a loss for Denver.
Oh, absolutely. The depleted Nuggets, it had all the makings of a scheduled loss.
And yet, Nuggets 102, Bucks 100.
This was, for me, the most impressive system win of the entire night. Denver has now won their 6th straight road game.
6 straight on the road is hard when you're healthy. And the leading scorer was Julian Strawther.
Julian Strawther with 20 points. And that tells you everything you need to know about the Nuggets culture and their system. When you can walk into Milwaukee, hold the Bucks to 100, and win with Julian Strawther as your main guy, your system is bulletproof.
That depth is just terrifying for the rest of the West.
It really is. Because banking these wins now just takes so much pressure off the Stars when they get back.
Okay, before we move on to tonight's preview, we have to touch on the bad news from Tuesday. Hawks beat the Suns 110-103, but honestly, this score feels like a footnote.
It does. It's all about Devin Booker.
Exited in the 3rd quarter with an ankle injury.
Yeah, he stepped on Onyeka Okongwu's foot. Just one of those awful, unlucky plays. But for Phoenix, this is a massive disruption.
How big of a blow is it?
Ow.
I mean, they rely so much on the chemistry between their main guys.
It just halts all their momentum. The Suns are an offense built on timing, and Booker is the metronome. Even if he only misses a week or two, it just resets everything. And in the West, a 2-week slide can drop you from home court to the play-in.
Ugh, yeah. Availability is the best ability. So just to run through the rest of the scoreboard quickly, Pelicans and Grizzlies played a track meet. New Orleans wins 133-127.
High-octane defense optional in that one.
The Cavs keep rolling. They beat the Kings 123-118. And the Raptors took care of business against Portland 110-98.
Just a professional win for Toronto.
Okay, so that was Tuesday. Now let's pivot. It is Wednesday, January 28th. The slate is loaded, but there's one game that is just sucking all the oxygen out of the room.
The battle for L.A.?
The Hallway Series. It's AWS Rivals Week, and there's no better rivalry game than Clippers versus Lakers. What are we looking for tonight?
Well, context is everything. The Clippers are arguably the hottest team in the entire league right now. I think they're on a 13-3 run.
13-3. That is real contender form.
It is. And the X factor, as always, is Kawhi Leonard. He's back. He missed a few games, which always makes you nervous, but he came back and dropped 24 like he never left.
He looked incredibly smooth doing it, too.
When Kawhi plays, he just stabilizes everything. He slows the game down to his pace. So tonight, it's a fascinating tactical battle. You've got the Lakers, who want to use their size inside.
Pound the paint?
Exactly. Pound the paint, get to the rim. And then you have the Clippers, who are built completely differently. They're an army of wings.
So it comes down to who controls the tempo.
It does. Can the Lakers punish the Clippers inside, or will the Clippers' wing depth and spacing just run the Lakers off the floor? This feels like a huge measuring stick game, especially for the Lakers.
A massive one. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to beat a 13-3 Clippers team with a healthy Kawhi.
You can't just beat the bad teams.
All right, there's another game tonight with a really specific, kind of spicy storyline. The Trailblazers are playing the Miami Heat.
Ah, the revenge game narrative.
We saw that quote from Eric Spoelstra saying Norman Powell has that chip on his shoulder.
Which is just polite coach speak for, we know he's going to try and drop 40 on us.
Pretty much. And you have Powell, this aggressive scorer, going up against the Heat, who pride themselves on that adaptable, shape-shifting defense.
That's the matchup right there. Miami's defense is designed to take away your number one option. They'll throw zones, they'll blitz. Spoelstra is going to try and use that chip on the shoulder against Powell.
Try to bait him into bad shots.
Exactly. Make him play hero ball. If Powell is patient, Portland has a chance. If he tries to win it by himself in the first quarter, Miami's defense will eat him alive.
You know, during Rivals Week, I almost always bet on the guy with the chip on his shoulder.
It's a good rule of thumb. Emotion is a huge factor.
Okay, so let's zoom out a little. Beyond the specific games, there's some league-wide stuff to keep an eye on tonight. First, the MVP race. We might have a new name seriously entering the chat.
We do. We have to talk about Tyrese Maxey in Philadelphia.
He's been sprinting up that ladder.
He really has. He's officially cracked the top 5 on the Kia MVP ladder. And that's big because for a long time, the narrative was that he's the sidekick. But if you watch the Sixers now, Maxey is the engine.
It's the consistency night in and night out.
He's made the leap from all-star to franchise cornerstone. So if you're checking box scores tonight, pay attention to his impact. He's affecting winning as much as anyone.
And on the other end of the spectrum, the Ricky ladder, we have a change at the top.
We do, and it's a great story. Con Klempel of the Charlotte Hornets.
He's passed Cooper Flagg.
Which is massive. Flagg was the presumptive Rookie of the Year since draft night. He has all the highlights. But Newple's play has just been undeniable.
What's he doing that's pushing him ahead?
It's all about efficiency and winning plays. Newple doesn't play like a rookie. He plays like a 10-year vet. He's not forcing shots. He's making the right reads. His efficiency numbers are off the charts for a first-year guy.
So if you're watching the Hornets, don't just look for points. Look for the mistakes he isn't making.
That's the key. Exactly.
One last thing for tonight's slate. You mentioned this earlier, the big game metric.
Right. This is for the data nerds, but it really matters now that we're past the halfway point. We're looking at how teams with winning records do against other teams over .500.
The good against good stat.
Exactly. Anyone can pad their record against lottery teams. But a game like Clippers-Lakers tonight, this is the proving ground.
Because both teams are over .500.
And history tells us that teams who struggle against other good teams don't suddenly figure it out in the playoffs. So if the Clippers win, that 13-3 run looks even more legitimate. It validates the record.
It separates the paper tigers from the real threats.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. Tuesday gave us KD breaking records and the Celtics winning ugly. Tonight, we have Kawhi in the Battle of L.A. and a rookie flipping the script.
Yeah, if you synthesize it all, you see this fascinating duality in the league. On one hand, you have Kevin Durant in, year 19, still evolving and climbing all-time lists. Then you have Con Newple taking over the rookie ladder.
It really feels like we're watching the torch being passed, but the old guard is gripping it pretty tight still.
They are not letting go. And that's what makes this part of the season so compelling. You have this clash of generations. The veterans are using their experience and their basketball IQ to hold off the young guys.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Why should you care about a random Wednesday in January?
Because this is where you see that championship DNA getting formed. When the Celtics grind out a double overtime win, that's a habit they're building for June. When the Nuggets win shorthanded in Milwaukee, that's a message. So when you're watching, don't just look at the score. Look at how they're winning.
The how matters more than the how many right now.
Exactly.
So here's my final thought for everyone to chew on as they watch tonight. We talked about Devin Booker's injury. We talked about Kawhi being back. The trade deadline is getting closer.
It's looming over everything.
But with all these injuries piling up and the MVP race shifting, is availability becoming the single most important stat in the NBA?
That is the provocative question, isn't it? You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not on the floor, can you be the MVP? Can your team be a contender?
We saw the depleted Nuggets win because of their depth. Maybe the team that wins it all won't be the one with the best player, but the one that just survives the attrition.
I think that's the story of the season so far. Survival of the deepest.
Survival of the deepest. I like that. All right, that's a wrap for this deep dive. Enjoy the games tonight. Keep a close eye on that Clippers-Lakers matchup. We'll see you for the next one.
Take care, everyone.